Good morning and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Festive Tech Calendar 2024. I'm happy to be here with all of you today. Today, I'm going to present on the very interesting topic, empowering conversations, how to build personalized chatbots using Azure AI. Before getting into the session, let me introduce myself. I'm Naveen Kumar, and I'm a data engineer with over 13 years of experience in the IT. I also have the honor of being a C Sharp Corner MVP, a technical blogger, and a speaker and a mentor, passionate about sharing the knowledge with the community. Let's get started. So we are going to see Azure AI Language Service. So we'll get into what AI Language Services does and what it uses. Like it uses the natural language processing (NLP) and also it supports the conversational language understanding. So that's a conversational AI, and we are going to see understand the question and answering, and finally we'll see a demo. So what is AI language? So AI language is a cloud-based service that provides a natural language processing feature for understanding and analyzing the text. Okay, so if we use this service, why we are going to use this service, if you see, so we will use this service to build an intelligent application. So maybe we can use that application in the web-based using our language studio, or we can use a REST APIs and also using the client libraries. Okay, so if you see what AI language is all about is that's one resource that enables us to build applications with industry leading with natural language capabilities. So here we are not going to use any machine learning models or any expertise. Whereas I said in the previous session, we used a chat 35 turbo, chat GPT 35 turbo model, the machine learning model to build a copilot. But here we are not going to use any of the machine learning model, just using the natural language resources to authorize and predict the responses what we input it. So this is all about the AI language. Okay. So next we are going to see the natural language processing. Okay, and before that, right, this complete session will be in simple terms. We are not going to see any kind of a AI related service. We are going to just see only the basic AI services like language service, natural language processing, and conversational language understanding, and under conversational understanding, what are all the core components we have. By using only these simple concepts, we are going to create a chatbot. All right, okay. So let's get into what is natural language processing. So NLP is a branch of artificial intelligence. Okay, so that focuses more of interaction between computers and humans using our own language, the native language model languages. Okay, it's all about teaching the machines to understand, interpret, and generate the human languages. Okay, so think of it like we have a text behind voice assistants, language translation services, right? That's one of the services in the Azure. So where you can input one of the language and it can translate to the respective, the if you have given it in the English, it can translate it to the French. Okay, so that's a take behind it. Okay, and even the sentiment analysis also we can say. So the NLP users. Okay, in simple terms, NLP enables a computer to process and understand large amount of natural language data. Okay, so it processes the large amount of the data, making an interaction with technologies more intuitive. So when I say the technologies, you might see in the chat applications in the delivery apps or the e-commerce sites also, right? So those are all like it's processing the more large amount of data at the back end. So that's NLP. And also NLP supports applications, right? If we see the real-time examples where we can utilize this NLP. So the NLP applications can see, it can hear, it can speak with us, or it can understand what we are asking. It means basically it understands the user by using the text analytics. We can say translation, language understanding services, Everything it's there in the Microsoft Azure. So Microsoft Azure provides all these features to build best AI applications using these language models. Okay, so this is all about natural language processing (NLP). Okay, so the next one what we are going to see is conversational language understanding. So what is conversational language understanding, why we need it, right? So this CLU, I'll take it short form, right? The CLU is used to build language models. Okay, in previous also we see, right? It's used to interact with the computers and humans. So this CLU is used to build the language model that interpret the meaning of phrases in conversational settings. Okay, so that is conversational language understanding. Okay, so if you see the three core concepts here, it's utterance, entity, and intent. So these are the three core components. We'll get into detail in that. Before get into this, so the required resources to use this CLU capabilities, right? The one is the Azure AI language, which we saw the beginning of the slide. The first topic we covered is the Azure AI language, and the next one is the AI Azure AI service, Azure AI service. So what is AI services? It's general resource. Okay, it's general resource that includes CLU, so the conversational language understanding, along with the many other the language services in the Azure. It's Microsoft Azure itself, so that you can use this type of resources to for predictions. Okay, so that is the AI services. Okay, now let's get deeper into these three core concepts: utterance, entities, and intent. So this utterance, entity, intent. So whenever we chat with any application, for example, if we take most of the will use Copilot or ChatGPT, we will use it for our everyday day-to-day activities, right? So when we give some input in the ChatGPT, right? So for example, give me a itinerary for South Asia, something where we want to travel. So we will give some prompt, right? So how we are going to give the prompt? In that prompt, we can identify what is utterance, what is entity, and what is intent. So if we know all about that, we can give our prompt very ethically, and we can get the response as expected way. Okay, so now let's see the example here. What we have here. So could you book a restaurant in Manhattan? So this is a input, and user can put it into the chat applications, right? So if you look here, that will consider as an utterance. So the input which user gives is considered as an utterance. So utterance is something where user might say and which your applications must interpret. So example we saw here is could you book a restaurant in Manhattan? So what we can say, another example is we can say when we are using a home automation, right, where we want to switch on the fan or turn off the light using some of the devices, the Alexa or Google Home we have. So when we want to use such devices, and when we want to put an input, switch the fan on or turn on the light, so that will be considered as an utterance. That input is considered as an utterance. So what is intent here? So intent is nothing but it's represent the purpose or goal expressed in the user's input in the sense utterance. Okay, so if you take the first example, so restaurant in Manhattan, so the user is looking for a restaurant booking, so that is the goal, that's a purpose, right? So that is intent. So what is entity then? So entity is an item which an utterance refers the input, right? In the input which is referencing here, where it's referencing, it can be a place or it can be a area, location, like that, right? So that will be the entities. So if you see here, the area is the Manhattan, the location. So that will be the entities. The example which we saw, right, the home automation, switch the fan on. So if you consider that one, the entity is fan. Okay. And if we take the second example here, could you book a seafood restaurant near me? So this is again an utterance. So again here the intent will be the same, the restaurant booking. And if you look at the entities, the near me, the location is near me, and the cuisine is seafood. So these two will be the entities. Let's look at the third example. Could you make a reservation at Red Lobster tonight? Okay, so again, if you look here, the intent is again the same, restaurant booking. So, and if you look at for an entities, the place name, the Red Lobster, that is the entity, and time. So these two are the entities for this example. So this is all about the conversational language understanding and the three concepts, the core concepts like utterance, entities, and intent, which plays major role in the prompts where the user gives an input. Okay, so I'll take a pause here and I'll quickly recap what we saw till now. So we saw what is an AI language, and we saw about the natural language processing, what it's an NLP, and the third topic we saw is CLE, the conversational language understanding, and the resource which uses is again the AI language and the AI service, and finally we saw the three core concepts like utterance, entities, and intent. So if you have any questions, please put it on the chat, and the end we'll have a look at all the questions. Okay. And the next topic is key features. So what are the key features Azure AI language uses? Okay, so you can see here the key face extraction, named entity recognition, sentiment analysis and opinion mining, language detection, translation, summarization, entity linking, question answering. Okay, so these are all the features we have, and here we are going to use a question answering feature for our demo. So we are going to create a chatbot which is purely for a question and answering. Okay, so let's see what is key face extraction and each items, and then we'll directly go to the demo. So key phrase extraction is just identifying and extracting the most relevant phrases from the given string. So when you put some document or some strings you are giving, so it's used to extract the relevant information out of it. And named entity recognition. What is the named entity recognition is? It's identify and categorize the entities. We saw it in the previous example, right? The entities like person, location, cuisines also we saw in the restaurant, right? So those are all the entities. So if we give some document, from the document, if you want to extract a place, if you give your ticket details and you want to extract the person name, time, and the places where he is traveling, the date, so those are all the named entity recognition. And sentiment analysis and opinion mining. So sentiment analysis is like the identifying the feedbacks from the customer reviews, right? Whether the positive review, it's a negative review, or it's neutral. So that is the sentiment analysis. And what is opinion mining? So this provides more granular information about the review for particular feedback. So it will get into more granularity of it. So that's an opinion mining, okay, kind of decision making. And the next service we'll see is a language detection. So the language detection is when you have some kind of language in the Chinese language. So the service will automatically detect this is a Chinese, this is a Spanish, this is a French. Probably I'll try to show a few of the examples before we start the demo for this. Okay, and the next one is the translation. So this is like predicting the input string or the text, and it will automatically translate to the target language. If we set English to French, it identifies the English language and it automatically translates it to the French language, and it gives reply back in the same translated language itself. And the next feature is the summarization. So summarization is like when you have given some kind of a large paragraph, the large sentences, and you want to extract the summarization of it. For example, when you're attending some meetings and all the meetings notes has been recorded, and if you want to send in a minutes of meeting for that meeting, so you can just use this summarization feature. It will just extract what is some MOM of all the meeting is all about. So that's the summarization. And entity linking. So this entity linking is the feature to identify entities in the word or the phrases. For example, the named entity recognition, which we see the initially, right? So that used to extract it from the text or the document. But here the entity linking is for the external things where you have some entities you need to link it from the websites, the external websites. Okay, so example here, Wikipedia we see, right? So when you want to do the linking in the external sites, so that's called as an entity linking. Okay, and question and answering. So this feature is most appropriate for the when we ask some questions and the application will give us a response. So what is the weather today? So the application will give the response of what is the weather of today. Okay, so this is all about the key features of Azure AI language. So yeah, so this is all about today's theoretical thing. So now let's get into the demo part. So I'm going to the portal.azure.com. Okay, so this is the home page. Now initially we saw we are going to use the language, right? The AI language service. So I'm just going to search for language and I click language. So I'm going to create one language service here. So these are all the features we saw, right? The sentiment analysis, key face extraction. So here we have few of it, and we are not going to use any of it right now. So we are going to use a custom question answering. So I'm going to select this custom question answering and continue to click your resource. And here I'm going to select my resource group, and I'm going to use a central US region. I'm going to give the resource name here is chatbot Q&A 001. So pricing tier, I'll select S 1K calls per minute, and we need to keep a search region. So the one thing you want to keep on mind is whichever the region you selected for an instant, the same region you have to select it for all the services which you are creating. And Azure pricing tier, I'm going to keep it as free. And here we have a checkbox to where you're going to use this as a responsible way. So I'm just click it. And when you're on clicking, you'll go to network, identity, tags, and review and create. So I'm going to keep everything as a default. I'm not going to make any changes to all these properties. So I'll directly click review and create. So my deployment is getting validated here. So once it get validated, the create button will be enabled. Yeah, it's validated. Now I'll click on create. So the deployment has been submitted and it got initialized. So it's submitting. So once it get created, so we will go into the language resources. So here we can see the deployment details. So it's in progress. Let's give a minute to complete the deployment. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, let me look at the chat. Okay, I don't have any open questions. Okay. Yeah, so still it's getting deployed. So we can see here the search services got created and we have one cognitive service and now it's getting deployed. Okay, so the deployment is completed. Once deployment is completed, you can click on this go to resource group. So here the chatbot QA Q&A 01, right? So this is our language service. The search service which is required for this chatbot is get automatically created. We no need to specifically mention because we just while creating we mentioned only the region and this pricing tier. So click on this chatbot QA 001 and if you scroll down here you can see the language studio. So I'm just clicking get started with language studio. So it will directly take us to the unified portal for the language related services. So here you can see many features what we saw initially, right? So let me go to the summarization. So when you click on this tryout, so you have all those sentences here, the text, and if you run this, this is just for trying out. So it summarizes the information what is there in this text. So if you want to use your own things, then you can create a resource and you can upload your document or you can put your string and you can test it. So this is for summarization, document translation. If we go to the extract information, right, we saw about the named entity recognition. So all those features are available here. If you want to try it out, named entity recognition. So we have one legal text here in the text box. So when I run this, so it extracted the information from this text. If you see the date, name, place, everything it's there. So see here the date and time, entity value, person type, organization, quantity. So all the entities are getting extracted from the text. You can see here date, person, everything. So this is about named entity recognition. And if you go to classified text, so detect language, we saw right one of the example detect language. So here if you see the document is in English, so this is the text we have. So when I run this, so it gives the language detected is English and the confidence score is 99%. So here we have a mixed language, one of the examples. See, hello, I would like to take a class at the university and we have some language. So I'm not sure what language it is. So what we can do is just run this and it's the language detected here is the Spanish and the confidence score is 88%. So here we have example for French and Chinese as well. So running this, it will predict it. Okay, so here is the this is one of the language detect service. So if you want to use it, so here you have the site, you can create this respective as resources and you can put your own code and you can see probably maybe in the future sessions I can take these examples and I can show you. And let's get into today's demo. So under this understanding question and conversational language, so here we are going to create a question and answering board. So here I click this custom question and answering. So, okay, so I'll sign in with Azure again. So it will ask you the basic details. So we'll give that. So it's a directory, my subscription, resource type I'm going to use, and the resource name we have already created the chatbot QA 001. So I'm going to select and click done. So my Q&A custom question answering is module is set up. Now I'm going to create a new project here. So here, once you click on this new project, it will ask you for select the language. Either you can select this at the initial phase now itself, or while creating the project also you can create it. Either way you can do it. So I'm going to do it right away. So I have selected English and click next. So here I'm going to give a uh, project name. So I'm giving the chatbot Q&A demo 01. Okay, description I can leave it. So in case the chatbot doesn't find the relevant information, what is the default answer it needs to return? So no answer found. So I click next. So and then I'll create a project. So now the project is getting created. Okay. So now, so what is the data source we are going to use for this chatbot? So I have already created a Excel with set of questions. So if you see here, I have a question and answers. So this chatbot, I'm specifically building it for Azure certification related information. So if you have any questions related to Azure related certifications, you have asked this bot, it will give you the answer. So I have a set of questions and I have a set of answers. It's similar to any of your e-commerce or the delivery apps, right? So they have all pre-built questions and the answers. Okay, so I'm going to use this Excel as my data source. So here, if you click add data source, I'm going to click on files. So add files, and I select choose file, and my document is in my desktop. I selected it, and I'm going to give it as knowledge base 01 as a source name, and just click add all. So my source is getting added here. So we can check here the status. So it's getting added. Let's give a seconds to complete. Yeah, so our source has been added, so we can see the details here. Now we need to, if you want to go and edit it, so you can click this edit knowledge base, and you can go and edit it here if you want anything to be edited. Okay, so I don't have anything to edit it here, so I'm just going to leave it. So if you want to test it, right, whatever the questions we have, right, if you want to test it, whether the data source which we uploaded is correct or not, whether it's responding the information correctly or not, so you can test it. So here is the test symbol, right? So you click here. So here, on clicking this symbol, include short answer response. For example, what is AI 900 certification is all about? That's a question you are going to put. If you simply put AI 900, it will give you the response. So if you want to put some short answer response, if you want, you can click here. Okay. Now I'm going to type hi. Hi. Okay, for hi, I'm Azure Certibot. How can I help you? Okay, now I'm going to ask a question here. What is at 900 mainly about? So let me see whether it's giving me a response. Yeah, it's a core cloud concepts and Azure AI service. Okay, so it's giving me the response. Okay, and probably I can ask one more question to test. So, do you need coding skills for AI 900 exam? So no, it's concept focused on beginner friendly. So we don't have any coding skills required for this AI 900 exam. So yeah, so it's getting responses from our knowledge base. Okay, so it's working. So we can go and deploy it. So here, if you see here, I can clear the chat. I'll close this. So here, if you see the deploy the knowledge base. So I'm going to deploy this, and I'll click deploy. So kind of like I'm publishing my chatbot application now. So I just clicked deploy. So it's getting deployed. So let's wait for the deployment to complete. So yeah. So now if you see the deployment is completed here. Okay. So now we are going to create a bot actually. So once you deployed here, you got to create a bot. I'm going to click this, create a bot. So it may take you to another portal. So where we'll create a bot. So here we are going to create our own bot. Okay, so I'm going to select my resource group and it's central 01 bot handle. So bot handle, if you want to give any name you can give. I'm going to just give it chatbot QA001 bot itself. And pricing tier, if you want to change your pricing tier you can change it. So its standard is 41 rupees. It's there for per message. It's 1000 rupees estimated for this 41 rupees. So I'm going to use a free tier, pricing tier. So I'll select it, and here you have a creation type. Create a new user, assign manager, or existing user. I'm going to create it with a new user, and clicking next, it will go for a web app. So here I'm going to keep the SDK language section as a C sharp, so I'm not going to change it. And the app service plan, create a new app service plan. Here I don't have anything created the existing app, so I'm going to create a new app service plan. Now here we need to put the language resource key because we are going to use a language resource, right, which we created at the beginning. So I'll go to the language resource which we created. Okay, and once you come here, this is the language resource chatbot QA001 we created initially, right? And if you come here, this resource management keys and endpoint. So click on this keys and endpoint. So here you have a key. Just click on show key, and I'm going to copy this key one, and let me go to the other tab. Here I'm going to paste the key which I'm copied. Okay, so and then I'm going to keep all those informations as default. I'm not going to make any change and click next. So my deployment is getting validated now. Let's wait for a minute. So it's validated. Now I'm going to click on create. So deployment is getting submitted. Let's wait. So if you guys also want to try this demo, so probably you guys are first time logging into the Microsoft Azure portal, so you will get a free $200 credit. So as a first time registration, and you will have 12 months of time to play with all the services from Microsoft Azure. Even you can try the AI related service as well. And the $200 credit is only for a month, so 30 days. So you can use the $200 credit for utilizing any of the paid features and all. All right. So you can, if you want to go and play with this, you can go to portal.azure.com and you can register for yourself. Okay, so it's getting deployed. So meanwhile, what we can do, we'll go and see what are all the resources we have created as part of this demo. So I'll go to Azure portal and I'll click all resources. So if you see, these are all the resources we created. Okay, one is the app service plan we just selected while deploying it. Create a new app service plan. So that is the one it's getting created. And this is the chatbot, and this is the language service and the search service. Still, our bot is not get created. So once that created, we'll see one more resource here like a bot. Let's see. It's getting deployed. Let's wait for a minute. Meanwhile, I'll check if there is any. Okay, it got completed. So I'll click on go to resource group. So the deployment is complete. Let's go here. Sorry. Yeah, I'll just scroll this. Yeah. So I'll refresh. Okay. So here you can see this chat bot. The Azure bot has been created. Now I'll click on this go to resource. And if I come here, this chatbot 001. So I'll click on this. I can do it there as well. So here is the chatbot we got it. Whatever we created, right? This is our bot. So how we can going to test this is we are going to test it as a web app. So I'll go to channels here. So if you see here, channels. So you click on this channel and you can deploy this chatbot in the below mentioned applications. You can deploy to Twilio SMS service, Telegram, Slack, Skype. It will not work as of now, and Outlook also you can use omni-channel. Microsoft Teams also it will not work as of now because the plugins are not getting updated from the services. So you can add it to the Skype as a bot, as a contact, but it will not give you any response from Skype. And Microsoft Teams, the older version it will support, but if you're installing with the newer enterprise, it will work in the enterprise version, but if you're using the older version, it will not work. So the plugins are getting updated. So what we are going to do is we are going to try it with a web chat. So I click this web chat. So I'll click on this default site. So here I have an embedded code. What I'm doing to do is I copy this code. I'll open a notepad. I paste this code here. So if you see here what's there in this, we have our web bot thing, and here it's asked to put your secret key. So what I'm going to do is here we have a secret key, right? I just open it. I'll copy this secret key and I'm going to replace this secret key here, and I'll save this. I'll save this in a desktop. I'll give Azure Certibot.html. Okay, so I'm going to save this as a HTML file. Okay, I saved it. Now I'll go and check this Azure Certibot. I'm just opening it. So it open. Okay. So this is my chatbot. So I created my own chatbot for a question and answering purpose. Okay, now I'll just type hello. Let's wait for a response. Yeah, okay. So hello and welcome. Hi, I'm Satibot. Hi, I'm Satibot. How I can help you? Okay, so this is the response it's getting. So we can test it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question. List down Azure fundamental certifications. Let's see what are all the certifications it has. So it returns AI 900, AZ 900, all artificial intelligence, Azure, data platform, security, all fundamental questions. Let me put a short word AI 900. Let me see, is it returning anything for me? Okay, no, so because it contains the same question, so it doesn't return for me. So I'll put in another question. What is the what is Azure Developer Associate for? So building and deploying apps. So this Azure Developer Associate is for building and deploying apps, and it's giving me the certification. AZ204 is the certification for this one. And if you want to test it, what is the let me ask what is machine learning in AI? Let's see whether I have such questions. Yeah, it enables system to learn and improve without explicit coding. So yeah, so this is the chatbot I created using my own Excel data. So for example, if you have your own set of questions, for example, the retail or a travel, where a user comes and asks for an eternity or cuisines, the restaurants I can look for. So you have those knowledge base with you. You put all those things in an Excel or a text file. So you can create your own chatbot for the travel agency or the restaurants, and you can plug it in your website or your chat applications wherever, even in the WhatsApp also you can plug it. Yeah. So this is all about the demo we have, and we came to end of the today's session. Thank you all for joining me today for this session. Before we wrap up, I would love to stay connected with you all. You can find me on my LinkedIn. Also, if you are interested in more technical sessions and learning resources, check out my YouTube channel at the rate TT with Naveen. I post videos on AI, data engineering, and other tech topics that I'm passionate about. Big thank you to Festive Tech Calendar team for this wonderful opportunity, and thank you everyone. Have a great day, and I look forward to see you in the next interesting session.